What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. Here today we have a lot of stuff to cover. The first one being Christian Walker became the first free agent first baseman to come off the board as he signed a 3-year, $60 million deal with the Houston Astros. That comes out to about $20 million a year. Now, the last 3 years in the desert, he has really come on strong offensively, collecting over 120 hits. 80 plus stakes, not to mention he reached the century mark in that category back in 2023. Now the home run totals have been fairly consistent as well. The last 3 years he has blasted a total of 95 home runs, with Walker eclipsing 30 home runs in a season back in 2022 and 2023. Now let's not forget that he is a premier defender at first base as well. Walker has won the Gold Glove Award each of the last 3 seasons. He has also led all of baseball with a .998 fielding percentage. This move allows Walker, who had a 7 defensive run saves last year, to slide into the first base position and replace John Singleton, who had a -8 DSR in 2024. So I think overall, great move by Dana Brown and the Houston Astros in picking up Walker right here. Now the second big news story is that veteran first baseman Paul Goldschmidt has now found a home. The 7-time All-Star and 5-time Silver Slugger will now take his services to the Bronx, New York, where he inked a 1-year, $12.5 million deal. Now, although his offense production has declined the last 2 years, as he just barely eclipsed 20 home runs and failed to drive in 100, we cannot forget that he is not that far removed from his first and only MVP award. In that MVP season of 2022, just 3 short years ago, Goldschmidt smacked 35 long balls, drove in 115, and led the NL in slugging percentage, OPS, and OPS plus. Not to mention, he has 4 Gold Glove Awards in his back pocket. Overall, I think that this deal is a steal for the Yankees. According to Baseball Savant, they only have Goldschmidt adding 3 more long balls to his 2024 resume if he played all his games at Yankee Stadium. However, in my opinion, that number can be significantly higher next year. I think if Goldschmidt can somehow, alter his approach and try to drive the ball more, to right field and be more of an all-around hitter from line to line, he can easily reach 30 home runs once again and bring him back to his MVP status. I really do. Great steal by the Yankees right here. Now, the Arizona Diamondbacks have traded for Josh Naylor of the Cleveland Guardians. In return, the Guardians pick up right-handed pitcher Slade Slinconi. Now, Slinconi, he's a 26-year-old who was drafted out of the first round in 2020, and since making it to the show, he rarely gives up free passes. And his fastball sits around 95, and he has the ability to reach 98 miles an hour if needed. He also has elite extension, as he sits in the 64th percentile according to Baseball Savant, which is above average. If you don't know what extension really means or what that does or what advantages that brings, well, basically it means that his 95-mile-an-hour fastball on the gun is perceived more like a 98-mile-an-hour fastball to the hitters. He has great deception because of his fantastic extension. Now, along with Slinconi, the Guardians received a competitive balance pick. Now, this pick is essentially a 3rd or 4th round selection in next year's MLB draft, falling between the 66th and 73rd overall pick. However, in this case scenario, Cleveland is guaranteed a 2nd pick in the competitive balance round B selection. In addition to their original pick, which is slated for 2nd, Cleveland will also take Arizona's original spot, which is scheduled to be 3rd. So back-to-back picks for Cleveland, not too bad. Now, enough of that. Let's look at Naylor right here. Now, despite him struggling his first few years with Cleveland, he found his stroke in 2022, cranking 20 long balls, and had a .256 batting average, which was the highest in his career up to that point. In 23, his power numbers dipped a little bit as he only popped 17 home runs, but he was driving in runs left and and right as he collected 97 steaks and hit to a sweet tune of 308. Now last year, the average was the lowest it has been since joining the Guardians in 2020, but his power and run production went to a whole nother level. Last year, Naylor hit a career high in home runs and RBIs, not to mention he was elected to his first ever All-Star game. To me, looking at Naylor's history, he could either be a free-swinging slugger in Arizona or be a controlled and calculated run producer. It's literally up to him and how he really feels and how he wants to go about his 2025 campaign. In response to dealing Naylor, the Guardians quickly patched up their hole at first base by signing an old friend, Carlos Santana, to a one-year, $12 million deal. This is Santana's third separate stint with Cleveland, as he spent 10 of his 15-year MLB career in the mistake by the lake. Now, in my opinion, there's a 50-50 chance that Santana has a productive year next year. I could see him mashing 30 home runs and driving in 85. In the same light, I could see him only popping 15 and driving in 50. I mean, it's just a matter of what he can withstand at nearly 40 years old. It's totally another flip of the coin right here for Carlos Santana next year in Cleveland. Now, the Philadelphia Phillies, they have added to the rotation by acquiring Jesus Luzardo and Paul McClintosh from the Marlins. Now, Luzardo was hampered with injuries in 2024, first landing on the 15-day IL. Then he would later be sidelined for 60 days with a lumbar stress reaction that happened in mid-June. That forced him to miss the rest of the season. Now, he ended his campaign only appearing in 12 games, posting a 5 ERA, a 1.25 whip in 66 and 2/3 innings. The 2 seasons prior, he was one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. If we combine his 2022 and 23 stats, Luzardo pitched 279 innings, relinquished 231 hits, and struck out 328 men, only allowing 90 free passes between those 2 seasons. So I think he's a sneaky good pickup for the Phillies right here. And Luzardo, he'll fit perfectly into that rotation along with the likes of Wheeler, Nola, and Sanchez. If you look at McClintosh, he's a catching prospect who popped 12 home runs, drove in 50, but did strike out 95 times last year in Double-A. So that's a little bit concerning right there. Not a lot to say about him, but I think the 95 Ks, not the best thing, for your resume if you're only in Double-A. Now, let's look at what the Marlins got right back. So in return, the Marlins will receive 19-year-old shortstop Starling Caba. Now, he will instantly slot in as a Marlins number 3 overall prospect, despite having no power whatsoever. Now, what he does bring to the table is good hand-eye coordination, along with solid plate discipline. Now, the other prospect is Morgan Boyd, who is a 21-year-old, 6 foot, 177-pound outfielder. Last year, he spent most of his time in High A, where he did nothing to note, really. Only collected 84 hits, 40 RBIs, and popped 3 home runs in 400 plate appearances. Topic number 6, a very shocking trade went down yesterday as the Rangers dealt Nathaniel Lowe to the Washington Nationals. In return, the Rangers will receive left-handed pitcher Robert Garcia. Now, in his 4 years with Texas, Lowe has a slash line of 274, 359, and 432 with 78 home runs in 2,576 plate appearances. Now, his power and average has dipped a bit from his career high 27 long balls and 302 average and nearly 500 slugging percentage he posted in 2022. Now, the last 2 years, Lowe has averaged 16 home runs and hovered around the 260 marker. Now, when it comes to the lefty Robert Garcia, he's mainly a 2-pitch guy. He's a fastball changeup type of man who wrinkles in a slider about 16% of the time. His fastball sits around 95 miles an hour, with his slider being his out pitch as he uses it 31% of the time in 2-strike counts. Sean Manaea signed a 3-year, $75 million deal with the Mets. He's returned to Queens. Now, last year, Manaea was really good for the Mets. He was a workhorse. He pitched 181 and 2/3 innings. He had an ERA of 3.47, the lowest in his career. He's also struck out 184 men, the second most in his career. He was really good. He almost cracked the top 10 in Cy Young voting. I mean, he's 32 years old, 3 years, a bit long in my opinion. The $75 million, not too bad. Would have liked to see him get like 2 at 50, but hey, I think the Mets know what they're doing. They need starting pitchers. This is a nice return for the Mets and Sean Manaea. Another starting pitcher came off the board. That was Walker Buehler. He inked a 1-year, $21 million deal. Walker Buehler, I think, is undoubtedly the dark horse when it comes to free agent starting pitchers this offseason. I'm very pissed that literally the Tigers did not give him this money. I mean, when you're spending $15 million on Alex Cobb, who was literally going to retire if you didn't swoop in and give him a freaking bag? Like, what the hell are you doing, Chris? Seriously, Illich, what the hell, man? 1 year, 21, I would have gave him 21. I mean, shit. I mean, if you were going to give Cobb 15, give Walker Buehler an extra 5. Seriously, I really don't get it. Great signing by the Boston Red Sox. Really, really nice. Another signing, Jock Peterson, he inked a 2-year deal worth $37 million with the Texas Rangers. And finally, the Rays, they signed Eloy Jimenez to a minor league deal. Please like, please comment, subscribe, guys. I'd appreciate it, man. And as always, I'll catch you guys later.